Mama Ida Odinga is a hero in the eyes of many. She wears many hats and has a history of resilience. Whenever she falls, she dusts herself up in record time.
These people came here in Kenya and studied me without me knowing they were studying me for 3 months. And when they went back, they sent me and they told me that they wanted to honor me for the work I'm doing.
Born Betty Ida Anyango, the mother of 4, is living proof that what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. On this day, we pay her a visit, and being the mother she is, the hospitality will not go unmentioned. Over the years, a lot has changed in her life, but her spirit is alive and the smile on her face makes it easy to chat away. She is one of the most influential women in Kenya, and in 2010, Standard Media Digital named her as the second most powerful woman in Kenya. And she was the first Kenyan woman to head a major corporation, that is East Africa Spectre. Today we have the wife of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Ida Odinga. It's great to be in your home.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I want us to touch on something maybe many people have not heard you talk about. You know, the time when your husband was away and you had to raise your children. Tell us how life then was.
Oh, those are many years back.
Her journey began when her husband, Raila Odinga, was placed under house arrest for 7 months. This was after evidence pointing to himself and his late father, Oginga Odinga, collaborating with the plotters of a failed coup attempt against President Daniel Arap Moi in 1982. Period which saw hundreds of Kenyan citizens and thousands of rebel soldiers die. Several foreigners also lost their lives. Raila was later charged with treason and detained. He was then released on 12th June 1989, only to be incarcerated again on 5th July 1990. He was released on the 21st of June 1991, and in October he fled the country to Norway with a hint that the allegedly corrupt Kenyan government attempted unsuccessfully to assassinate him.
I was a young woman and a young mother.
All this time, Ida played the role of both parents.
I had the strength somehow, but it was not easy because I had 3 children who had to go to school. But then I had to balance it out also with my work, which I was a teacher at Kenya High School. And
former girl.
Kenya
High,
yeah, that's nice. And since you went to Kenya High School, you know what Kenya High School is like. The teaching job was very demanding.
What were you teaching?
I was teaching geography.
Okay.
But apart from geography, I was also involved in extracurricular activities. For example, I was in charge of first aid, which I did under the guidance of St. John Ambulance.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And at the same time, that's the time when I just started a program known as Kenya German Students Program.
Okay.
This program involved taking girls to Germany.
It was an exchange?
It was an exchange program. So it worked this way. I would choose girls of Form 3 and Form 5. Not exam classes. And I'll take them to Germany. There they learn so many things. Some of the things we're learning are the things that were in the syllabus that we had learned in geography. And also to learn other ways of life. And they stay there for 4 to 5 weeks with the families in Germany. And then in December, the German students come to Kenya and stay with the families, Kenyan families.
So this time when you were doing all this, you were raising your own children as well who were in school.
Yes.
But I'm imagining as a woman raising these 3 kids, Were there moments where you felt broken, moments where you felt lonely?
Those were many. There were many times I felt lonely. There were many times I felt broken. And you realize my case may not have been exactly like my mother's. In case of my mother, everybody knew my father was dead, and she was alone to look after the children. In my case, being a wife of a political prisoner, you are equally a prisoner, because the system kind of scared people from coming close to me. I remember so many times I'd have the police in plain clothes watching over me, following me, looking who is talking to me, or where am I drawing my strength, and they will scare these people away.
So you had no privacy?
I had no privacy. That also scared many people, because many people would be questioned why they were talking to me, or why they came to my house, and such like. So you are left on your own. You are left on your own with your children.
And how did this affect the children?
They sort of shied away from people, and also from other children, because I realized that there were also parents who were telling children, don't mix with so and so.
Family.
One time I went to school because it was Parents' Day, and I went to Rosemary School. And you know the way the parents come and they line up and they see the teacher one by one?
Yes.
And I had also lined up waiting to see the teacher, Rosemary's teacher, biology teacher. And in front of me there was another mother of another girl. And then as she was asking, then asked them, I don't want my child to talk to that Rosemary Odinga. I don't want my children to mix with that child. Because she's a child of a political prisoner. You'll rub some of their bad bad behavior onto my child. And then the teacher went on to talk. The teacher didn't know who was in the next one on the line. The teacher went on to talk and said, I'll make sure that I separate them, they don't sit with her, and so forth. And
that made you feel bad, huh?
Well, yeah, but I just kept quiet because I wanted to know. I was also a teacher somewhere else. So when it was my turn, I asked the teacher, and how is Rosemary? And of course she realized that she had made a mistake with the previous. Then I said, I think here you just talk about your child. When I come, I just want to talk about my child. You don't have to open up to another teacher telling them about another child's
child.
Because my child is not a political prisoner, and she's here by right. She's got to just want to learn. But that is the kind of thing
that you were going through.
That we are going through.
Okay. 10 years later.
Yes.
Hey!
Kabla hujakuwa Mkamba, Mluhya, Mjaluo, Mmeru, wewe ni Mkenya, sio? Tunajivunia tukua nini? Kenya ndiyo inaunganisha sisi pamoja. Unataka Raila aende nyumbani aendelee? Aendelee asiendelee? Ngapi wanasema aendelee, nione kwa mkono.
Your husband comes home.
Yeah.
How was that reunion?
Well, he came, a lot of what had passed under the bridge. 10 years is not
It's a long, I mean, I wish we had time to cover just what happened.
Because when eventually he came out, Fidel was 17 years old. He left Fidel when he was 9. So there's a big gap.
Yeah.
Like this time that the boy in him developed without
the father figure.
Yeah. And Rosemary was was also 14 or something like that.
mm.
I didn't realize that Junior could not remember the father. But recently, when at the launch of the book,
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
I had Junior say that, oh, you know, me, I first met my father when I was 11 years old. So I didn't realize that.
But he actually hadn't.
He had not, even, he could not even remember who the father was.
How was it watching them? You know, as a mother, we're given, I think, wisdom and, you know, kind of getting the family, your children to gel with their father again. It was like knowing him again, yeah?
I would get them to write notes, which I would take to him. I would take pictures. And that's all.
So even when he was in detention?
Yeah, I would take him
was
pictures of the children. I'll get them to write the notes. Even if you don't write anything meaningful, just write,
At least
scribble
there's
something.
to connect.
To connect.
That's quite a story.
So it was a really like
Trying
a new
time.
beginning
It
when
was.
he came out.
Okay.
Yeah. And you see, he came out and stayed into politics. Prior to that, Raila was not a politician.
Yeah. So now he comes back and he gets into politics, and now you take on the role
Now,
of being a politician's wife.
exactly.
And that has gone on for years.
That has gone on for years.
How has that been?
Well, it is mixed. Sometimes very difficult. Sometimes easy. It exposes you to a lot of things. It takes away the privacy
Yes.
of the home. At the beginning, it was very difficult because when he came out and he plunged straight into politics, my children were young. Fidel was going to do Form 4. Rosemary was in Standard 8. Those are exam classes. And here is the father in politics. You don't even have time to sit with the children in the evening, to supervise their homework, to attend to their school, because there are so many people also in the house and so forth.
What would you, because there are a lot of young Turks, so to speak, who are getting into politics now, most of whom are married.
Yeah.
You've been in those shoes. How would you advise these young wives to carry themselves, to raise their families, to support their husbands?
I think as the husband is in politics, you support him, but concentrate on the children.
On the children.
Because if you get carried away and go with that, the children may have problems. But you know what I did when he plunged in? I eventually had 2 houses. I had a political house and family house.
Within the same building, or you?
No. Separately.
Where and where?
The family house remained in Kileleshwa, where my children, they'll come home and get to a home that they know. And the political house was in Karen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those different. So when you're in the political house,
everybody who come in the name of politics, I direct them to.
So you
house.
Separated, huh?
Yeah, separated them.
That's
and I know
really
this
wise
is not possible.
for many
it's not
people.
easy for many people. Because when politicians come to the house, they want to stay for a long time. The children want to do their homework.
They want to play.
They want to play. They want to be themselves. This is their home. So it becomes difficult. But what I would tell the young women, wives of politicians, protect your
children.
Yeah.
That's a strong one.
Protect your children.
Protect your children.
Yeah, get them out of sight.
Okay.
Otherwise, by the time you're through with your politics, you'll find your children gone.
Your children gone. That's a strong one. When you look back on your life, highest moment?
There have been very many too. Many things when I see my children and I see them succeed. For example, I go to their graduation. That's one of the highest moments. Like I went to Rosemary when she was graduating. Went from Howard University in US. That was really something.
Bursting with joy.
Bursting with joy, because I see,
Your work paid off, huh?
Yeah, it has paid off. And then when Junior also graduated from University of Wales, I went there, and it was nice to see the little Junior.
Now grown
graduate.
and, you know,
And then finally,
it, yeah.
Winnie.
Winnie.
All these things give me joy.
A lot of joy.
I think maximum joy I get when my child succeeds.
Succeeding. Your lowest moment?
There are so many. If I look back, I'll say the lowest moment is the day when Raila was charged with treason. I thought the end had come.
The world was crumbling around you.
Yeah. And that was a long time ago. That was in September 1988.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very bad time.
It was a bad time.
And then when what I went through the following 10 years, it was just a nightmare.
A nightmare. And look
It is
at you
just
now.
by grace of God that we are still
You're
here.
still here.
Yeah. Of late, some of what I've called my lowest moment was the death of my mother.
Yeah, losing a mother.
Yeah. And that happens last year in July. Because I told you my father died when I was a young girl.
So it's
And
your
I've
mom.
always had my mother, even
She's
as
been your
old as she
rock, huh?
was.
Yeah.
Even as old as she was, she had an answer to every problem that I had. You'd still go to her, tell her your problem or your anxiety, whatever is troubling you. Her listening kind of solved the problem. But my mother was also a very prayerful woman. She'll pray for you. She'll pray for that particular thing. And when she prays, you feel the problem is solved.
That's all, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
But the worst one is the death of Fidel.
Having Raila Amolo back home, the family finally reunited. Everything seemed to be going on well over the years until one fateful morning.
Fidel ameenda na Fidel yuko. Wazungu wanasema the king is dead. And they say long live the king.
Fidel Odinga, Ida's eldest son, was no more. The once closely knit family had lost one phenomenal member.
Bless the father, bless the mother,
That is difficult, it's really difficult for me to speak because I have to speak about Fidel, my baby, my son, my best friend. That is Fidel.
How are you doing?
It is hard, but that was a bad thing.
Bad thing.
You know, death generally is a bad thing, and it's difficult to cope with it. But when you sit there and you watch your child die,
I know.
as a parent, it finishes you. I don't know how other people have gone through it, but it is a picture that remains in your mind all the time. You see what happened. Because it reached a stage where I was really enjoying having Fidel, like us in company, in the family, and so forth. So that was a bad thing.
It was a bad thing. For just to dwell on that a bit more, dealing with loss, and coping. What have your coping strategies been?
You know, people will come to you, people will talk to you and tell you, oh, I've done this, or things are okay, it will go away. But they're talking to somebody who is deaf.
At that time.
You hear, but you don't understand, and it doesn't sink in. But then sometimes you sit and you look at other parents who have gone through that. And you wonder, how do they cope?
Are they still standing?
Are they still standing? And of course, you know, there are so many books you can read.
To read, I know.
I know everybody will advise you to read the Bible. You can read that Bible. You've been reading the Bible before, you're reading after, and then you don't understand.
The Bible.
You just don't understand. Somebody would come and say, Mamba ya Mungu, why should God do that to me? You don't understand. So, for example, I went to visit this family of this girl who was killed in Garissa massacre. And a simple family, very simple family in the village there. And I just looked at that mother and I was wondering what she was going through. I understand it. I understand some of my friends who have lost 2 children. One of them is Patricia Radul. And I can see her smiling, and when I get there, she's smiling and laughing and whatnot. But I know inside
what
she's gone through. There's another friend of mine, Jane, who has also lost 2 children, grown-ups, the children I knew. So those people, when you see them, then you realize that life can still go on. Life can still go on. Or life is for the living.
It is, I tell you.
No, life is not for those who are gone. But it also makes me a better person in relating to the people who go through this kind of problem. Yeah, because I understand them better now.
I understand it. Yeah. I thank God you're doing well. You're still standing, and that you're able to support people who are going through that is pretty admirable. When Ida, eventually we're all going to be called home one day, what would you want your legacy to be? What are your future aspirations? What do you want people to remember Ida Odinga?
I don't think I'm done yet.
Yes. Yes.
You see, this issue of girls' education, we are not there yet.
There's a lot of work,
we have not reached where we want to reach. We still have to hammer it. We still have to talk about it. We still have to create awareness. There's no way we are going to improve this country. There's no way we are going to advance in whatever if we don't give our children quality education. That is a must. Quality education. I know there are good schools, there are many children are going to school, but look at the masses, particularly in the rural areas. For the last 1 year, 1.5 years, I've been living in the rural areas. I've been staying there, and I see what is going on there. Not much education is going there. Even the basic things that they want to know.
A book, a pen.
And then there's also this issue of education is now based mainly on academics. How they passed in their math, English, science, whatever. Education is not only academic, it's bringing up the whole child.
Holistically.
Holistically. If we don't look at the whole child, we are destroying our children. We are destroying our future. Because educated girl would make a better mother. And a better mother will bring up better children. And these healthy children will make better nation.
So you're a champion for education.
Education.
For every child.
Holistic education.
Holistic education.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do to keep fit? I'm curious.
I just walk.
You walk a lot?
Yeah. And I work. I'm on my toes.
What are your favorite quote or quotes?
It wouldn't be prudent to leave the presence of such a strong woman without a word of advice. Before concluding, Mama Ida gives us a few words to carry home with us.
It is good to be a wife, but it's better to be an educated wife. It is good to be a mother, but it's better to be an educated mother.
Powerful. I'm also curious. You're already very influential in society, but I'm sure there are people who've influenced your life, like role models, locally, internationally.
My role models? Well, I think one of my role models as I was growing up was my headmistress.
Oh, wow.
Miss Churchill. I looked at this woman. She was very strong. She was very knowledgeable. She was very religious. And she was a good role model for girls. Today there are many people. I saw how Winnie Mandela fought very vigilantly for the people of South Africa and for her husband. That was also a role model to me at one time. But the biggest role model was my mother.
Your mother. If people want to get in touch with you, how can they?
You can get in touch with me through my social media, which is Twitter at Ida Odinga.
At Ida Odinga.
Yeah, even on Facebook.
Ida Odinga.
Hashtag Ida Odinga.
Okay.
Website rao.co.ke.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I have to say something about the social media.
Okay.
I know social media has given people platform to say what they want, when they want, the way they want. But you must remember, social media should not be used as a platform for insults and innuendos and pornos, that the things that people feed up in mind. Let's use it as a way of communicating, and communicating on things of value that would enhance our lives, but not be used as places for rubbishing everybody else.
Point noted. Ida Odinga, thank you. Thank you again. We've been talking to Ida Odinga, and from the interview, I'm sure you've noticed that she's quite the champion for education, and not just education. She wants quality, holistic education. How can you help in that area? Supporting the girl child and also not forgetting the boy child. Getting quality, holistic education. Getting to know Ida Odinga, the woman. We hope you've enjoyed the show. She has said that if you'd like to get in touch with her, I'll repeat her Twitter handle. That's at Ida Odinga. And you can also get communicate with her on the website. That's rao.co.ke. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, my Twitter handle is at Jean Mongela. You can also use at Ebru Africa. On Facebook, we are Ebru Africa. Thank you so much for watching the show. Do join us next week on Walks of Life. I am Jean Mashimba Mongela.